Hey guys, welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. I'm Matt. We're live today. We're going to be talking about our sale, our flash sale ending here. That's actually ending today. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about our upcoming open house.
Hey guys, I'm Tim. Y'all, our sale's been going on for almost a week now. We extended a little bit and we figured we'd give you one live preview of us talking about some of the stuff on the sale and give you a little bit of a heads up that it is ending in less than 24 hours. So time to take advantage of some of those savings right now.
And as always, you can throw your questions in that live chat. I'm going to have that up in front of me, and we'll be able to answer your questions in real time. Any gardening questions you have that, we could help you with, we'll be glad to go over that, especially Japanese maple-related content. Feel free to throw that in there, and Tim and I will be getting to it as we can in the chat.
So, y'all, today's Funflower Friday as well. We've got some things coming back on Funflower Friday, but the sale that we've got, that's our focus for today. And we've got a lot of plants that are $5, $10 off, some things that are even $15 off right now. So we're going to go through and highlight some of those cool plants that you should probably take advantage of while the savings are here. And there's definitely some cool plants on our sale. One of my favorite things that are getting listed that's listed right now on sale is Golden Falls. And they're normally $50, y'all. Right now, $35. So that's $15 off.
That is an incredible deal. I think that's one of the best deals out there.
And that's something you just need to take advantage of right now because, y'all, $15 off on something that you can train, shape, and play with and have fun with in a unique way. You can grow these in a hanging basket. You can grow them as a container plant. There's so many cool ways you can grow this plant. Definitely something you should take advantage of.
Catalina Yetsubusa. I'd like to bring that one up. Those are a steal right now.
Yeah, Catalina, it's one of the Macawa types. Right now they're down from 50 down to 40. So, y'all, that's a pretty good steal right now whenever it comes to a variegated Macawa type. Who else is bringing you a variegated Macawa type for $40?
Yeah, that's a good deal. And it's a really underrated one, too. I think that one is exceptional. It's got a ton of color, a ton of really nice interest. I like how thin the foliage gets, how irregular it gets. Super interesting variegated one.
So as people are coming in, before we go into more of the sale stuff, let's talk a little bit about our open house coming up. We've got our open house coming up. That's coming up on Labor Day, y'all. That's going to be from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. So get here early. If you don't have your hotel booked, go ahead and book it now. You're going to want to be here at 8 a.m. so that you can shop and really take advantage of looking through all the greenhouses. Our greenhouses each greenhouse has about 5,000 to 6,000 1-gallons in every single greenhouse, and there's a lot of fun stuff everywhere. That's where I find a lot of my limited release stuff. When I'm walking around the greenhouses, I'm like, hey, look, that's not with a set. Let's list that. That's not with a set. Let's list that.
And Michael Nealon made a great point in the chat just then, too. He said, good morning. It looks like it may be cooling off for Labor Day. Looks like we're going to have some killer weather. It's actually looking like that week now, knock on wood. You never can say specifically for that day, but it's looking like that week we may be upper to mid 50s at night, 70s during the day, which is like ideal for that weekend.
Yeah, and we've got a food truck, the Greasy Groove Wagon.
Groovy Grease Wagon.
The Groovy Grease Wagon's back.
No, the Groovy Grease Wagon.
The Groovy Grease Wagon's back.
And they'll be providing breakfast and lunch, so
And they got an awesome breakfast and an awesome lunch, so whenever you get here, you can start running through the greenhouses and build up an appetite.
Everybody loved that last time. I had a lot of good feedback on that when we had them. People really enjoyed it. We had them at Memorial Day, and they provided breakfast, which was, I think, a game changer because a lot of people didn't have to go get breakfast before they got here. I know there were people at the gate at 4 a.m., so those guys needed some breakfast.
I had breakfast and lunch with them, and it was awesome. Both things was fantastic. Excellent
service, and the quality, I had a lot of people comment on how much they enjoyed the food last time. So this time we're going to have the Carolina Drifters. So y'all see Sean and Jess and Kate around here a lot. They're in a lot of our videos. Sean's doing all of our audio and all the editing and all the guitar and all the cool things you see in our podcast. We get him on camera a lot and talking about landscaping. And there's an upcoming top 5 with Jess you'll have to check out. But those guys, they're here a lot. The Carolina Drifters will be here. They'll be playing live. We'll have the full band. It's going to be an exceptional time. And if you haven't already, go check out their new single, Gasline. You can find that about anywhere. It is an incredible song, great band, and I think we're going to have a really fun time. It's just a fun vibe. I loved it the last time they played because people were just chilling in the greenhouse. You got live music going, and you got Japanese maples and a food truck. It's hard to beat that for me.
That's for sure. And we're going to have some really cool, first-time releases at the open house. We try to bring up things that are unique and different, and some things that you might not have seen before, and maybe some things that you're looking for that you have seen, but you hadn't had the opportunity to purchase online because they sell out so quickly online. Again, when we do these things, many of these will be limited to one per person on some of our special releases. And unfortunately, these are for the people that are here at the open house. We can't be shipping those to people who aren't here at the open house.
We always want to say that because we want to make it as fair as possible to the people who drove in. And a lot of times there'll be a secondary release of something if we have a big set of it anyway. But if there are something that's exclusive for that day, we want the folks that drove very far to be able to participate in that first. There's going to be a exceptional amount of cool plants here. We say this every time, but I think it's going to be more than ever. We always bring more stuff up. We're always working to pack that upper area, the greenhouses, the nursery, with as much shock and awe and attention to detail and as much crazy stuff as we can. So that's what we're busy doing all this week. So if we look frazzled, that's what we're going to be doing all week, is just trying to make sure the best stuff is up here and ready to just blow everybody's socks off when they get here.
Yeah, and I hope a lot of people understand, because the very first time we did this thing, we'd shipped off, someone grabbed some trees to ship to other customers, and there were plenty of people that driven from far away that were here trying to get the exact same trees and weren't able to purchase them. And so, we just had some issues with that. That's the reason why we set up basically one per person for some of our super cool releases.
Now, we're going to have a lot of merch, too. So we'll have hats, T-shirts, bunch of merch going on, some new Maple Mafia hats, some different stuff like that. And that stuff is coming to the website. I keep promising it, but I promise it is. We're going to actually assign that to somebody each week to get the shipping out on that, and probably launch that pretty soon so we can actually be having hats and T-shirts on our website.
Speaking of T-shirt, see this T-shirt my wife got me?
Frogs.
It's got a tree frog on it. It's got a red tree frog on it. I was pretty excited about it. I told her I'm going to wear this to the live this morning.
This guy's going frog crazy again. He's reliving his childhood. Tim's been collecting frogs again. There was a girl who applied at an interview last week, and her degree was in, is it herpetology?
No. She just has a lot of experience with herpetology.
Well, it was like an instant hire. Tim was like, what, you know a lot about frogs? And he was like, we're like this kind of frog place, but just for Japanese maples. I'm like completely out of the conversation over here.
She had a lot of outdoor experience, though.
It just cracked me up. Tim's like, you like frogs? We're going to be friends.
Hey, frogs and Japanese maples. Good companion plant. Good companions. Well, anyways, y'all, we've talked a little bit about our open house. We're going to have a really cool time, fun time. We're going to shoot some top fives. So people that are coming, let us know.
Yeah, especially all in the chat. I love to feature people that are frequently in the chat. So if some of y'all are coming and you'd like to do a top five with us, grab us. Grab me and Corbin. Sean, Sean's going to be playing music over there. But Brian, any of us, don't go up and interrupt Sean mid-guitar riff. But grab one of us here at MrMaple and say, hey, guys, I'd like to do a top five with you. Be thinking about it before you get there. I would love to shoot one with you. It's a lot of fun. And one of my favorite things about that show is featuring the people and then kind of seeing what everybody's into. Like, it's just cool to see, people that have a little bit of expertise, people that have been, collecting. I love showcasing our employees here. Like I've got one coming out with Elizabeth. I've got one coming out with Jess. And I just love to show what people like. It's fun to see each person's individual taste. And it's so different and diverse. It makes it so much fun.
And we still have Scott Wild, too, from our last open house, his 10 at 10. And I'm going to have to get a good cover photo for his. And that's one of the reasons we've been pushing it back. But, amazing 10 at 10s. It's some of the most fun things we can do is a lot of our 10 at 10s with our top fives with our customers. It's kind of exciting and fun just to geek out and talk about plants. And that's one of the good things about this open house is there's a lot of people here who geek out about Japanese maples the same way you do, the same way I do, and we can walk around and talk about it.
Hey, if you can pull off a 10 at 10, I'll throw you in. You hop in there and talk about 10 trees off the cuff, you're in, buddy. I'll take it.
Now, often what I'm doing at these open houses is I'm going around saying, hey, are you finding everything that you need? And then if you're not, I'm trying to go around and see if I can find where those plants are for you. And so make sure you've got your list of what you're looking for, but at the same time, be open because you're going to see a lot of cool plants that you may have never seen before. And then some of these plants that you've seen before, when you see them in person rather than just in photos, they grab your attention and you're like, that one's speaking to me. I mean, when you walk around these greenhouses, a lot of Japanese maples are going to speak to you. So make sure you're ready to get spoken to by many Japanese maples.
If you're not getting talked to by the tree frogs. All right, let's hop into the sale a little bit here. I'd like to talk to y'all a little bit about some of the crazy stuff going off. That flash sale is ending today. There's a ton of good things on there.
One thing I want to mention is we've got a lot of XL 2 gallons on the site right now.
I think people have been taking big advantage of those too. I've been seeing a lot of pictures of them online, and they're massive right now. People have been really shocked at how big of it. Like I had a guy get one. He's like, "This Twombly's is 8 foot."
Yeah, and that's the idea. We want you to jump on these XL 2 gallons, especially right now, because we dropped the price down $5, $10 on many of them.
You don't have to pot them up if you do, guys. So
exactly.
We're passing those savings on along to you. We're going to be potting up the rest soon. So.
The rest are going to have to go to 5 gallons. So it's a good time to grab a hold of those 2 gallons before they have to get potted up. And there's a lot of Japonicums. There's some huge summer gold, some huge fire glow, and some amazing plants that you can take advantage of in these super, super large sizes right now.
Now, if you are coming to open house, don't forget that you can do a nursery pickup and have that saved here for you. You'll need to tag it as a do not ship. You'll need to check out with a way that reserves it only for pickup here. And that can happen with any of our bigger material too. We've got some bulb and burlap stuff out here. We've got some huge 10 gallons. And so if you know you're traveling from Texas, or you know you're traveling from Eastern North Carolina or Georgia or Maryland, wherever, and you're saying, I really want to get there, but I want to make sure that B&B giant 7-foot summer gold isn't gone by the time I get there, guys, we can put your name on it. So go ahead and check out with those. We'll have them ready for you. We'll have them tagged with your name on them. So if there's something you're looking for exclusively, we'll have it ready for you. There's already a ton of people that are doing that, and they've got, some 10-gallon Macaws and things already tagged with their names on them. So great way to make sure you're getting exactly what you want before you look for all the other great things you might not have known about ahead of time.
Now, I know whenever Matt and I went knife shopping and we went and got Microtech, Matt was like, hey, Tim, you're getting like the best knife ever on your very first knife.
He had no idea. They walked in the store and he bought like their flagship, was it the SOCOM model? I'm like, yeah, you've never even heard of this brand before and you're buying like their best brand.
Exactly. So if you're new today to Japanese maples and you're like, hey, I'm going to start growing I'm going to get a garden of Japanese maples. The trees you need to get right now while they're on sale today on Mr. Maple, Celebration. It's $10 off right now. It's a super pink reticulated ghost-like Japanese maple. Gives you some unreal colors of pink. Catalina Yatsubusa. We're talking about a tree that's a Makawa type, that tightly layering habit. It's variegated. Golden Falls. It's everything people love about Ryusen, super hardy. Got to use some good yellow fall color. And then we've got Fire Glow in those XL 2 gallons. I mean, if you're looking for a beginner package of something that's just the best of the best, that is some amazing things right now. And every single one of those items are all on sale right now on Mr. Maple.
Yeah, there's some just incredible things. We really tried to, I would say, almost mimic our Black Friday sale with this sale. We really upped the level of things. And we really took the price down to just the smallest baseline we could possibly get to.
What's the crazier right now is this is one of our larger inventories we've ever had on the website because we've been dropping 10 at 10s on Tuesdays and most Thursdays.
There's a lot to be on sale because we've been dropping a lot of content.
Exactly. So there's more to grab right now than ever before with these deals. And so this may actually sell maybe bigger than our Black Friday sale any other sale we've ever had.
Now, someone asked, what types of differences can I possibly look forward to seeing with the wild collected Takasumense? The wild collected Takasumense, the main benefit to that one is that it has that provenance to it. So you actually have, a source from the wild collected source. Now, truthfully, all Takasumense do come from some wild collected source, but they've been grafted, and they've been grafted over time. You just know you're getting one from the direct source there by getting that provenance to getting a wild collected one. Most of the Acer pseudosubultianum subspecies Takasumense that are out there in the maple world generally come through the Arnold Arboretum. So you're getting a separate set of genetics, and there could be some genetic differences there in fall color. There could be some genetic differences there, as far as shape a little bit. They do want to be tall and narrow overall. Incredible plant. Takasumense, one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I mean, you might notice some differences on the shape of the leaf a little bit. and that's because you've got different provenances of the same species. But again, it's the same species. We've offered wild collected from the Morris Arboretum. We've offered wild collected, which came through the expeditions with the Arnold Arboretum. We have offered it through Barry Yinger, which Barry collected as well.
The honest answer is I would love to see some variants. So yeah, let's get everybody getting new wild collected forms. I need a variegated one. I need a weeping Takasemense. I need every form of Takasemense that we have in Palmatum.
We need somebody who has connections with Washington Park Arboretum who can get a scion on the dwarf form of Takasemense they have there. They have a dwarf that looks like a, Sharp's pygmy kind of shape. That if anyone's got any connections with Washington
Park. I think I'll be
visiting
Seattle this fall.
Yeah, I know. So if you got connections, that we want connections with scions for that tree.
Shout out to everybody that was at our recent Nashville talk. I know there's some of y'all in the chat. That was so much fun. We haven't been doing a ton of garden talks since COVID. I mean, you guys, it was incredible. I've never felt cooler. We started going some of these talks since we've been doing YouTube so much more, and you forget how many people are watching YouTube. And I was just humbled and honored that there was like 15 people that watched all of our content that were at the talk. And I just want to say shout out to everybody that does. That was so cool. We went to a recent garden talk, and it was like, I remember what it was like doing garden talks 5 years ago. And it was fun, and people knew who we were, but it was just so cool that people were so responsive to what we're doing and into it, and I just felt really cool. Shout out to everybody that was at Nashville recently. It was just really fun.
And thanks for the Middle Tennessee Perennial Plant Society that had us. Thank you so much for having us. Thanks so much for having us come talk to your group. And also thanks for letting a lot of our customers that were in the area also come to the presentation, because I think that just elevated the experience for everybody.
Oh, I think so too. Here's another thing I'll throw out to our whole chat.
It was kind of like, the mosh pit area on.
We probably brought in 15 new people to the society that day.
And like a lot of our customers sat at the very, very front. And so it's kind of like the mosh pit area at a concert where Matt tells a joke. Matt tells a joke and they're just laughing. They're laughing and laughing. And a lot of the other people were, very studious trying to learn. But it
was nice to have some super fans there. It felt really cool. You guys made us feel welcome for sure. Along that same line of thinking, now Sean and probably Corbin and Tim and I are going to be in Seattle at the Maple Society meeting. So we're going to be making that trip out there. We're going to be doing a podcast with the Maple Society that weekend. Let us know if there's some things you'd like for us to cover. I'm going to be reaching out to Charlie Morgan. That one's a no-brainer. But let us know if there's things in Seattle, that area. Probably going to go by Kubota Gardens. Again, a no-brainer there. Kubota is one of my favorite gardens on the planet. But if you have any ideas for things you'd like to see in Seattle, let us know. We're probably going to go up to Vancouver, shoot a little bit of stuff up there. But we're looking to bring you some premium garden content, especially when it relates to Japanese maples. And if you're going to be at that meeting as well, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. I know Alex is in that area. If you want to do a top 5 with us, come catch us. Even if you're not at the meeting, we'd love to shoot with you.
Or if you've got a really good garden up there, some cool maples. We've got a lot of we want to shoot and capture a lot of cool Japanese maples in the area. If you know of any old specimens out there that are really cool, I doubt there's going to be anything out there on the West Coast that's as big as something as the Hopewood Estate. But you never know. They've got some really cool big old redwoods and other things as well.
One Babu Baby said, come back to Grand Rapids, Michigan. We had a ball with y'all as well. That was a fun talk. Again, I was humbled and honored to turn around to a group and see like 300-400 people in the room. I was shocked and awed. So y'all blow us away. That was so fun. We really appreciate it. And it's fun. Like, I've got a 1.5-year-old now, so Tim and I are starting to get back out there. I've got 3 under 6, so it's hard for us to travel. People are like, hey, why aren't you doing the Nashville Lawn and Garden Show? I'm like, I got 2 kids born in March under 4. So March has been hard to get away. But we're starting to do a lot more garden talks and things like that again. And so if your garden club is somewhere, Tim and I travel. Like she was saying, Grand Rapids, Michigan. We were in Nashville last week. Reach out to our office if you'd like to book us to come and speak to your club. It is something we enjoy doing, and we're starting to do it again a lot more.
Yeah, and again, y'all, this sale is live right now. It's ending within the next 24 hours. And, it may go it may be a little bit shorter, a little bit longer, just depending on Saturday morning whenever I wake up and when I can find time to go through here and actually change the prices and put everything back on the website. But, y'all, it it's time to take advantage of these savings. Again, if you're coming to the open house, you can always tag this, click pick up, put in the notes, Mr. Maple open house, or we're going to pick it up on Labor Day, and they will have it for you. We'll have it for you, at our hold area whenever you're walking around, and you'll already be able to take advantage of these savings of the Japanese maples on the prices they are right now. First Ghost.
Oh yeah,
$30 right now.
Oh wow, dude, that's definitely Black Friday prices. We're talking under $35. Everybody's going up on prices. To be honest with you, everywhere's going up on prices. Someone asked me the other day, they're like, "Hey, when are you going to offer free shipping?" I said, "I'm going to let you know a little secret. No one on the planet has ever offered free shipping. That price is baked into the price. That's why it's $75 up front for a 1 gallon. That's $35. We don't bake that into it. So $30 for a 1 gallon is an incredible price, especially for these First Ghosts, because they're huge. Those are an excellent size as well. I want to answer Bruce Burton's question, and shout out to Bruce. I know he's going to be having a birthday right around Memorial Day, or right around Labor Day as well. Bruce asked, will there be shipping boxes available so people can purchase those and ship them back? Now, we will have those for shipping, but I wouldn't encourage you, if you're driving in, to put the trees back into a box. Stop at a local local place around here like Ingles and get some crates and keep your trees upright. No reason to pack them into boxes where they're going to be like laid over if you're traveling in. We can help you get your car packed.
And you can double stack too, and triple stack, and quadruple stack.
I think you'll have more success, especially traveling in a hot car if they're upright over time. So I wouldn't worry with shipping boxes unless they're actually going through FedEx. But we're glad to help you package.
Okay, so one thing I want to mention right now, if you go to our website right now and you click on the homepage, and then you scroll down and click on Maples, we've got some neat sort features that Nigel, one of our computer guys, has really made easy for everybody. And if you click on collection, you can click on the Ghost Series collection.
Nice.
And right now, we've got more Ghost Series available than ever before. With this sale right now, you can collect the Ghost Series at the lowest prices we've ever offered. The only one that you're missing right now, you can even get the honorable mention of Ghost Dancer. The only one that's not on here right now is Martha Ghost.
And it will be returning. We've been upping our numbers on Martha Ghost. I think we influenced Talon. He was telling us he watches our stuff a lot, and he did a recent blog, and he rated his ratings of the Ghost series best to last. And I noticed he included Martha Ghost in there, so I was glad to see it.
The only other time I noticed him include Martha Ghost was
92 or 94.
Yeah, and that was in a Maple Society proceedings where he goes through and explains, the entire Ghost series. And if you go down through here and look, Amber, Baby, Dark. Dark's in low stock right now, Dark Ghost. So I'd take advantage of that real quickly.
Those are huge, too.
First Ghost, Grandma Ghost, Purple Ghost, Sister Ghost, Uncle Ghost, and Ghost Dancer are all on sale right now, and they're all available right now. So you can actually collect the Ghost series. You can collect almost the full Ghost series minus Martha Ghost.
That Martha.
And Martha is the rarest of them all. I mean, I think we may be one of the few people who have Martha Ghost. We've only offered it a few times.
We found that one in a Maple Society proceedings from I think it was either 92 or 94. We were literally going through there reading old Maple Society proceedings because we're huge nerds like that. And I'd actually gotten that proceeding from Peter Gregory. Peter Gregory had shipped me a bunch of old back proceedings from his house after I visited Peter. And I was just thumbing through those, and I found one that said, Talon's working on this new Ghost series, which may include First Ghost, Purple Ghost, I think Grandma Ghost, and Martha Ghost. That was the only ones mentioned at that time. And Tim and I are like, what the heck is this? So we went on this mission to track down Martha Ghost. We actually had to go through customers of Talon's from that era and then find one in a garden. We paid somebody to dig one up out of a garden and get it back to us. And so that's how Martha Ghost is still in existence today. Talon, we called him, and he said, I no longer have the cultivar. He'd had a nursery manager named Martha. I think they'd had a falling out, and Martha Ghost disappeared.
You'd think Martha Ghost would be one that you'd be producing more if you had someone you had a falling out with.
I don't know, maybe.
It's like
sick tree. I mean, it's incredible. I love the way it looks, and it's one we're definitely going to be getting back in numbers so that when we offer this Ghost series, you can check the whole thing out at once. Great opportunity just to get the whole Ghost series right now, minus Martha Ghost. Be waiting on that 110 at 10 to finish it all.
Okay, y'all. And also right now, go and check out our video on the Ghost series. We've got a whole video just on the Go Series Japanese maples where we go through and discuss each and every single one of them, their differences, the sizes, the shapes. And you can go through our website too and see all the different fall colors. Y'all, now's the time to take advantage of this Go Series. It's never been this easy to collect the Go Series. I mean, most of the time we've got purple ghost, we're out of amber.
Right.
We've got dark ghost, we're out of first ghost.
We've been beefing up those numbers intentionally on that series. Now, Sunmaker asked, he said, I jumped in here, and you may have already said it, but what is the famous tree you see when you Google the Portland Japanese maple? That is the Portland Japanese Gardens, I assume you're talking about there. We were actually going to shoot with them when we were there in June. And our friend who's the curator was actually in Japan when we called. And we said, well, we'll just wait because I'd rather follow through with him when we do it. So we're going to go back and do a detailed video on the Portland Japanese Gardens. That tree actually is likely a seedling that predates kind of the cultivar craze. It's probably close to 40, 50 years old at this point. And likely, Acer palmatum dissectum atroporum would probably be one of the better things you could put on it because it's a red lace leaf. But something pretty close to a Nobistar or garnet, to be honest with you. Those are pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, at those atroporum kind of colors, I mean, it's somewhere between that and like ornatum, dragonfire.
Yeah, there's a couple famous ones there too.
Yeah, and so it's sort of right there in that kind of mix.
I will say you're right. Probably the most famous one is probably closer to ornatum because it hits that orange.
Yeah. It's
like right back there, actually.
The dragonfire, ornatum, Kim, that style is going to be something that's very, very similar. It's not one that's in cultivation likely. It's likely just a, seedling that has the similar colors to ornatum. So that's something to keep in mind.
I know some guys that could graft that one for you, though. Our Maple on the Knoll, Ted asked if there's going to be a lot of new conifers. There will be. There's some great conifers that probably hadn't even been listed that will be at open house for the first time. And Ted, come find me. I'd love to shoot a top 5 with you. You've been on my docket for catching you for a top 5.
So y'all, right now, also, if you click on the Pendulous Treasures collection, if you're going to those collections right now, we've got a bunch of really cool ones on there right now as well. We've got Dragon Master, Ghost Dragon, Hoshi Zora, and Looking Glass Falls, Fountain of Youth, Nakakomoto Weeping, and Rikuzen Shidari, all on the website right now. I mean, those are all that heavily cascading, very unique shape. Those are all types you could grow in hanging baskets. Golden Falls is on the website right now as well. But all the ones from the Pendulous Treasures collection are all our introductions that have that weeping habit. So take advantage of it now. Nakakomoto Weeping on sale right now, $40.
You don't ever see that one on sale, except Black Friday. Wayne Boatwright, he said, I ordered and received a Rhode Island Red from MrMaple. I'm accustomed to seeing a singular main trunk on Japanese maples. The one I received has 2 main trunks. Is that cast off or usual for this cultivar? So that's very usual for Rhode Island Red. Rhode Island Red wants to put on a ton of branching. So that one, even, at 3 to 4 feet tall, is going to be 3 to 4 feet wide. So let that one mature out. It's going to put on a ton of low growth like that, and that's completely customary for that one. Now, sometimes you'll get a 1 gallon that'll be a central leader to that one, but that's not what's going to do long term.
Yeah, it'll put on lots of side branching. Go check out some of our photos on the website. If you see that tree in the pot, that's got that blue pot, that's probably the reason why you looked at it and you said, man, I want that tree.
That width is great.
The one at NJ Acers that's in the pot, that's got that round sort of ball shape, it's going to have to put on multiple branches down low to get that shape. And so, I mean, that's what it does naturally. That's one of the reasons people love it, is because it gives you that look of a dwarf bloodgood. A lot of times people for years tried to go out there and they would take like a bloodgood or a bloodgood seedling or a red Japanese maple and take shears and hedge trimmers trying to get the shape that Rhode Island Red does. And they butcher the tree and make it look real bad.
It's basically the perfect real dwarf bloodgood.
Yeah, I mean,
like everybody asks for a dwarf bloodgood, and there's not one with that leaf shape, but Rhode Island Red does that.
Yeah, it does, and you don't have to put the shears to it to get that amazing shape, which means the tree looks great even in the winter. I mean, that's the problem with those sheared back Japanese maples is they shear them back, and then the leaves drop, and then you're looking to see how bad it looks where they've sheared it back. Mm-hmm. And with a dwarf like Rhode Island Red, you get that small, compact shape all by itself.
But multi-stems with that, perfectly natural. That just means you're ahead of the game. What's your favorite companion plant for Japanese maples? Michael James asked. I've got a lot of them. I love anything that's not going to give you too much root competition. Typically, my favorite go-to is sedums in my garden to kind of create a situation where I've got a ton of growth going on and I don't really have too much competition going on. My overall favorite plant to plant with Japanese maples are Rhodea japonicas. I love Rhodea japonicas. I think they're the coolest plant. They're basically like an evergreen hosta from Japan, and I just think they're super interesting. There's so many variances to those that really get me excited. So that would probably be my number one companion plant, to be honest with you. Obviously, conifers fit perfectly with Japanese maples. Now, you don't want to put things too close together, so it might not be a true companion plant, but you got to have some conifers in your maple garden. But Rhodea japonicas are my favorite true companion plant. So like a one-to-one planting around Japanese maples in a shady spot. The root competition is not going to be too heavy, but you just get those Japanese vibes. Like it's got that overall aesthetic I'm going for. I'm actually putting a bunch of variegated Rhodea japonica into my garden this winter. I've kind of got things laid out, and I'm planning on, I've got a weeping form of Stewardia, and I'm planning on packing variegated, it's right beside the original Hot Blonde actually too, but I'm planning on packing variegated Rhodea japonica like all around that to like fill out the whole bed.
Yeah, I mean, the variegated Rhodea japonica are great shade plants. They're dry shade. In Japan, people collect those because there's so much variation in them, kind of like what you find with Japanese maples. And so it gets that collector bug rolling. In the United States, you know, often like miniature hosta kind of fit that same kind of role too, but they don't have that same Japanese vibe that the Rhodea do. Now, if you're going with a sun situation, the Satsuki azaleas are excellent companion plants.
Oh yeah, totally.
They're dwarf, they're compact. We got a bunch on sale right now. In fact, we've got tons of Satsuki azaleas available right now, and they're super slow growing. I mean, that's the reason why people love them for bonsai, and they bloom midsummer, and so they can grab your attention. You know, when after the Japanese maple's done its spring thing, where it's really showed off in the spring, in that early summer before the summer flush, you can get some flowers out in your garden. And some of the Satsuki azaleas are simply amazing for their blooms. They have really, really large blooms, and you know that small, compact habit.
Shout out to Grayson Chisler. I know he's coming to open house this time. Awesome dude. Really enjoyed conversations with him. He said, okay, so what crazy MrMaple fan do you expect to be first in line on the morning of Labor Day? So that's a funny one. I mean, Chris is normally out here. I know Maple Maniac's out here. Funniest part about the Memorial Day open house is Doug McDougal, who you're hard to beat that guy. He shows up at 4 a.m. out here. There's one guy in front of him in line. He's like, dang it, I got here at 4 a.m. There's already some guy in front of me. That guy walks in the gate, goes, I'd like to buy a Tamukiyama, hands us $100 and rolls out. I just thought that was so funny. He beat Doug all the way from Texas, bought one tree. You know, just funny he was there at 4 a.m. But
I think he had even pre-bought.
Yeah, he'd like, I've got a Tamukiyama ready to go. Got his Tamukiyama, he was out the door.
I would have not have guessed they would have beat Doug.
That was the 4 a.m. customer.
Yeah, exactly.
So who knows, Grayson? Maybe we'll have a newcomer take the title again like last time. I wouldn't be surprised if Grayson or Maple Maniac or Doug or any of those guys are out there first. We'll make sure to come and greet you guys and be ready. I think it's gonna be a fun time. We do open the gates at 8 that day.
All right, y'all. So while we've got you on listening to this live chat right now, I want to show you something really cool. I may have showed you this once before, but many of y'all may have missed this. If you go to MrMaple.com and you click on, at the very top heading, it says Easy Shop. And then you scroll down and you click on Azaleas and Rhododendron. Then you can click on Shop Azaleas. You can actually shop our azaleas for what you're looking for. I know we've got a lot of azaleas on our website, and many of y'all are Japanese maple fanatics, and so you don't know as much about the azaleas. But from here, you can click on whether you want to shop an evergreen azalea or a deciduous. And say you want to go to an evergreen and you want to look for those Satsuki azaleas that I talked about. First, the evergreen azaleas allow you to shop by color, so you can go look and say, I want those more orange, pink, purple, red, or white. But then you can shop by group. And that's where you can go and click on those Satsuki azaleas where I told you about earlier. You know, our large collection of Satsuki azaleas that are slow growing. The Kurume azaleas, those are some of my favorite too. I mean, that was the the grouping of azaleas that was sort of created by samurais. That they bloom in the early spring. They're amazing. They bloom before the foliage really even starts pushing. You get blooms so much that cover all the evergreen foliage. It's one of the showiest spring things, and they're often paired well with Japanese maples, especially those high shade with some sunlight, dappled sunlight coming through. Like I'm thinking like the Ruby Maze Azalea Garden out in SFA Gardens.
Maybe we can get down there this fall and film. If they have fall color like they did last year, we were so busy we couldn't. But I looked at those pictures on Facebook that Dr. Creech posted, and I was like, "Get in the car, we're going." They had some incredible fall color. Maybe we can get down there. Maybe we can get down there next spring when the azaleas are popping off.
The Kurume azaleas are amazing for that. The southern indicas, if you're in the southern United States, they typically get 6 to 8 foot, but they are hybrids that just perform so well out there in the landscape. Can handle high heat and high humidity. And if you're looking for high heat, high humidity things, check out the Aromi hybrids too, because Dr. Eugene Aromi was down there in Alabama, and that's what he focused on was high heat, high humidity hybrids that are a little bit smaller than some of your southern indicas, but can perform really well out there in the landscape. You've got your Gerard Harrises, which are a little more cold tolerant. You've got Robin Hill that made these large blooms. I mean, there's so many cool azaleas right now on our website, and they're all on sale for the next 24 hours. So if you want to shop, that Easy Shop is an easy way for you to understand them by grouping. And then
great way to grab gifts right now too.
Yeah,
if you want to grab a gift for somebody, grab an azalea. That's a killer gift for a gardener. And some of these are $20, $25. There's some steals right now that's going to provide, everlasting beauty in this person's garden. They're always going to think of you when you give them this Kurume azalea. It's going to be something that they associate with you. It's a killer way to do a gift right now. I mean, you can't even buy flowers for $20 for somebody, but you can have something that's going to be in their garden from now on.
Why get an azalea that everyone else has in their garden that's going to be the same thing that anyone can go pick up at Lowe's?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come in here and look and grab you something cool, rare, something extra that will add to your garden like your rare Japanese maples. So
I'll tell you right now, the sale's going to be over before open house. But if you guys grab them and tag them as do not ship and check out, you can pick them up at open house for these sales prices. That's zero shipping and a killer deal. Wayne Boatwright had a great question right here. He said he's in Zone 6A. How do you suggest protecting Japanese maples from cold weather, no greenhouse? I don't suggest really doing too much in Zone 6A. Even in 1 gallon containers, we're 6B here. So we get, occasionally we get down to -10 in our setting. We don't heat our greenhouses in any way. We actually have cold frames. It's very rare that we close the doors. To be honest with you, our doors are open all winter. So really we're controlling the moisture content more than the temperature on those. What we're looking to do is to keep them as dormant as possible, not provide a false spring, not bring them in and give them any activation and then leafing them back out too early. Go check out some of our videos on protecting from cold snaps. But that's the main thing you'll need to do in Zone 6. Even in containers, just protect them when the weather's changing dramatically. For a freeze or a cold snap, that's the time to look out for things when you've activated and got into leaf. Japanese maples typically work great in containers, Zone 6 through 9. They work in the ground in Zone 5, but you do have to watch out a little bit for containers in Zone 6, or in Zone 5.
One Babu Baby said, we have any Indian summer available this fall?
Yes.
Yes, they will be. Sign up to be notified, and make sure you're paying attention to our 10 at 10s. They're dropping on Tuesdays. We may have some more on Thursdays. We'll just have to see. And y'all, either Flamethrower Redbuds, Cryptic Creatures asking, going to be available at the Labor Day sale again. Yes, I'm pretty sure we've got some more 3 gallons that will be available at the open house only.
There's going to be some Golden Falls that are too big to ship, too, of Redbuds. So if you want to see some killer deals on some Redbuds, we're going to have some big stuff that there's no way we could get it in a box is the honest answer, but we're still selling it for 3 gallon prices.
So make sure that you come to this open house because there's going to be cool plants everywhere. Many things that are, not ready to ship, too big to ship. You're going to want to be able to pick up some of these cool plants. I mean, it's going to be available at the open house, and they're open house exclusives.
Brandon Dewey asked, do you know when the native flame azalea is coming back?
It's just going to have to be whenever we can get them back in stock.
There are a ton of native azaleas right now, though, currently.
Yeah, we've got a lot of native azaleas available right now, but a lot of the native flames will be coming back available maybe later this fall, maybe next spring.
Doug asked, what should the pH be for azaleas? Slightly acidic, very comparable to Japanese maples is really ideal. Japanese maples typically like it around a 6. They're so adaptable, though. They can handle a lot more alkaline soils than that. I mean, obviously. But slightly acidic, if you've got aged pine bark and you're getting that out, you're going to increase the acidity of your soil a ton just by doing that. Most of your basic soils are going to work. You just don't want them to be extremely alkaline.
And y'all, as always, we've got people right now packing down houses here up at the top of the nursery so we can bring more up from down low. So there's more up top than you saw last time. And so we're constantly packing down houses and packing them as full as possible to get ready for this open house. So we're doing our best to get ready for this open house. Make sure you go ahead and get your hotel rooms because that weekend is the Apple Festival in Hendersonville. And there's a lot of fun things to do downtown Saturday, Sunday with the Apple Festival.
We're taking it over. We're making it the Maple Festival.
I was actually surprised that I was told that the Apple Festival was promoting the MrMaple Festival on Monday.
I greatly appreciate them. Our local agriculture here is greatly dependent on our amazing apple farms here locally. So if you're coming in, feel free to go check out the Apple Festival. It's an awesome time. It is massive, though, so be prepared to fight the crowds. But it's a fun time to see downtown Hendersonville.
They've got Apple everything.
Yeah,
Apple ice cream, Apple pies, Apple milkshakes, Apple everything.
Then come on by Monday for the Maple Festival. That's when the fun starts.
I was shocked, though, that they promoted our open house on Monday.
A lot of kind people there. They've really been nice to do that. Tabby S80 asks a similar question about Kentucky Zone 6, about keeping Japanese maples in containers. I would suggest not bringing them inside at all. So we're 6B here as well. I find that people do more harm than good bringing Japanese maples inside when they're in a warmer zone. Unless you're having an extreme change in weather, keep those outside. You can always plant the pot in the ground if you're worried about cold temps and the root freeze. That's one of the easiest ways to keep your container plant happy is just bury the pot in the ground with it temporarily. But I think your Japanese maples will be much happier outside in Zone 6.
Now, I see Sean's threw up the MrMaple Friends Facebook group thing up top. I want to mention that for a second. If anyone's not in the MrMaple Friends group on Facebook, you should join it. It's a great way to talk to other people, share photos of your garden. And if you've got questions, there's a lot of cool people there that have a lot of experience with Japanese maples. They're always willing to jump in and help and understand what's going on. We're getting a lot of people right now who are emailing Miss Jody who are getting some of these Jordans, for instance. And they say, my Jordan looks more palmatum. And she's like, well, have you watched any of our videos on it? Because it is a hybrid Shirasamanum with palmatum.
And this time of the season, they can be a little greener, especially coming out of the greenhouse.
And so new growth look more palmatum-like, but as it matures, it looks more Shirasamanum-like. And so we get a lot of questions on some of those things like that. And often you can find those where people posted those in our Facebook group, and they say, oh, yeah, that's completely normal. I've got Jordan. New growth looks like that way, and older growth looks like a Shirasamanum.
Bearded Bonsai asked, ETA on the Talon footage dropping from your trip. We actually just did a re-edit of some of that. Corbin had lost some of the drone footage that he filmed that day and found it. So we just dropped some more drone footage into one of our garden tours.
Man, those drone footage
it made a big difference. Like once I saw the drone footage, I was like, hey, look, man, these shots are pretty killer. Can you add these back in? And so one of our edits just got finished. There's a 2-part walkthrough of the gardens. There's a ton of stuff coming on our Talon trip where we went to Buckholtz Nursery and filmed. My guess is I think we're going to save that almost until October. We'll see. We're probably going to drop Buckholtz Week, like Shark Week, and just talk about all the crazy stuff we saw. We actually have a top 5 most outrageous plants at
We
Buckholtz
shot there
Nursery.
like 3 or 4 days.
You're going to be blown away by some of this content we got. I think we're going to drop it kind of like as a whole collection. I mean, we filmed so much content, I think it kind of fits together in like a collection format. So we might just run all that back to back and just ignore our normal scheduling and just we've got something for everything, but we might run it all week long in like a Shark Week format.
I will tell you, if you want to realize how big some of the trees are, when you see Matt and I discuss algaton, and Matt and I are in front of the original algaton in one of the videos. Later, when you're looking at the drone footage, look and see how small that algaton is
Right.
in comparison to all the other trees on the gardens.
PJ's Pond and Garden said, you guys need to come to Connecticut and film at O'Brien Nursery. Yeah, man. John's a good friend of ours. We were actually wanting to do that this year. There's never enough time in the day to go film all the places you want, but that is an incredible garden nursery. He's got one of the best gardens around. One of my favorite times I got to go up there was right when all the hostas had really hit their peak spring and I would absolutely love to come film at his place. Good friend of mine.
1700s list. Yeah, we've got Laura. We've got a podcast coming out soon.
Probably next week.
Good, probably next week on the 1700s list. So keep an eye out on that. There's hopefully more to come on that as well. We're still doing some research. So hopefully maybe at some point in the future there'll be a part 2 where we can actually expand that a little bit more. But 1700s list, that's such a fun topic. I mean, I love talking about those ancient cultivars that just, some of the very first Japanese maples in cultivation. That's pretty amazing.
PJ's Pond Garden was asking about sun tolerance for kotobuki. I've seen it in a good bit of sun, surprisingly. 6B is pretty forgiving. That's the same as we are here. Really, it goes by how your heat index are. So, I mean, you could be a zone 6B and get, be close to the ocean sometimes. So you got to be careful there. But depending on your heat index, most of the time in zone 6B, it can handle full sun. I've seen it doing pretty well. Now, if you're giving it early morning sun, late day shade, I think you're going to have your optimum situation there. So if you've got early morning sun, late day shade, you can kind of get to even brighter pinks during that kind of situation because you're picking up that spring pink on kotobuki. I'm assuming you're asking about palmatum kotobuki. We also do, the Pinus limburgii kotobuki, which can handle sun.
We can handle a lot of sun and is salt tolerant and is super heat tolerant as well. Those black pines, they're pretty fun.
They're tough, man.
I like them because they can handle some shade as well. So they can, in our cold frames where we have high heat and 55% poly, they can grow with the Japanese maples and do fantastic. And you can't do that with a lot of other conifers in that 55% white poly and that high heat.
Shout out to Cryptic Creature. They said, wife booked an Airbnb in South Carolina. We were very excited for our first visit to MrMaple. We're excited to see you. Again, we're humbled and honored by people traveling to be here. We were shut down so much during COVID. It is so much fun to see faces and just bring people in again and get to hang out with collectors. And the way we do things here, we're primarily a mail order nursery, so we couldn't just be open every day because we'd never get anything done. We'd talk trees all day. But it's fun to have these specific events where we get to just bring everybody in all at once. And it's one of the things that's beautiful about that is, you'll spend some time with Tim, you'll spend some time with you'll spend some time with our employees, but also, you're going to see Maple Maniac. You go hang out with some of these other guys, Andy. Go talk to some of these other people that are here. It's fun to find the other guys that you might not know in person, but you see from the chat. That's one of those fun things about getting them on camera at the 10 at 10, or the top fives too, is like, I think I know who Maple Maniac is now. I know who Maple Nuts is. Let's go talk to those guys.
Yeah, and make sure you tell them you saw them in their top 5. You can often see a lot of the real crazy Maple people from our group because they'll often be wearing MrMaple gear. So you'll have to see a hat or a shirt or something along those lines. Whenever you're running around, if you want to take a photo with me and Matt, just let us know. Don't be bashful. We'd love to take photos with you as well. Whenever I first met Talon Buckholtz, I went up and he had a poster he was giving to people. I went up and got him to autograph it, and I was shaking. I was like,
Tim and I were actually drawing.
Mr. Buckholtz.
We actually played rock, paper, scissors outside his hotel room there.
Knocked on the door.
We were at the Embassy Suites, I remember, and Tim and I are both there. We're
in Tigard, Oregon.
I think it was actually Tim's 21st birthday, if you want to know how crazy we are. Tim's not out partying. He's partying on Maples at his 21st, and we're just young bucks out there. And we got that poster, and we're sitting outside playing rock, paper, scissors to see who's going to have enough guts to go knock on Talon's door for the autograph.
And I was sitting there shaking. Mr. Buckholtz, may I have your autograph? And so it seems weird to me.
Hang that one up in here, too.
It seems weird to me that people want to take photos with me, but I understand it because I was on the other side of this at one point too, where I was a guy excited getting to meet somebody that I really looked up.
We're just humbled and honored y'all are making it. Much less excited to meet me. Be excited to meet the plants. I'm extra. I don't know about that. Michael asked here. He said, "How sun tolerant is Osami?" In Zone 7A and Zone 7B, I think you'll be fine in Tennessee. Again, check your heat index. It is one of the more heat tolerant Acer japonicums, but the japonicums will have larger foliage with some late day shade. Like I know late day shade is like the thing for everything, but if you can provide late day shade for that, you do get a little crisper and a little like larger leaves to it. So you get a little bit more of that cartoonish looking leaf with some late day shade. Sometimes in full sun, that does shrink the size of the foliage a little bit.
I love when people come into this live chat though, because there's so many tidbits and secrets to our open house that we start throwing around. And there's so many cool things we start telling people about different things on our site. We talk about some of these flash sales. So I really appreciate everyone jumping in our live chats.
Come find Michael James, Maple Maniac. He will be doing an autograph signing as well.
I loved his short of him waking up in the greenhouse.
That was like one of our best shorts ever, oddly enough. That we just shot this goofy short where he showed up the next day and we're like, hey, I caught Maple Maniac sleeping in 22. That and Derek Ortiz packing like God knows how many 10 gallons. It was like 8 or 10 or something, 10 gallons into his car. Both those shorts blew up. I guess everybody was looking for content from our open house, but that was funny. Those both did like 2.5K in a day or something. It was funny.
Well, y'all, make sure that you've got your hotels booked for our open house. That's Labor Day, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Don't show up at 3:55 and want to check out all the greenhouses because we will be closing at 4. And y'all make sure that you take advantage of this flash sale right now because we've got some amazing prices right now on some real cool plants. The entire Go series, Celebration, Golden Falls, Catalina Yatzabusa. I mean, there's so many awesome plants right now on our website. Go check them out.
Yeah, guys, we really appreciate it. We may go live again. We'll see. We'll at least do some updates depending on how much time we have before open house. We'll drop some stuff in the group if we don't go live. But we're going to have a great event. All the information for our open house will be on our website, so you can get the address. We'll be coming through the address website. Everything there will give you the directions on how to come in properly for our parking and everything. And we'll have it set up. We still got to figure out where we're putting the band. I joked with them we're going to have them on top of the FedEx truck like Beatles style. So we got to get our stage in here. Tim's bringing a stage, hopefully. We're excited just to pull this off, and we hope you'll be part of that. If you're local, definitely come check it out. But it's going to be a fun time for all, hopefully.
Take care, y'all.
God bless.
And have a super cool day.